CaneRod pipes for two. Full Pipe Club is the place for you if you like pipes and chatting, and especially if you being merry and is hotter than ginger. CaneRod pipes.
Would you believe I hit the wrong button? Hello, friends. Happy Friday. I hope everybody is doing well on this Friday evening and your weekend is off to a good start. It's great to see so many folks are already gathered here, and I am enjoying some Haunted Bookshop in the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli, as is the tradition here on the CaneRod Pipes Virtual Pipe Club Friday night live stream. So let's get to it. And I see we've already got quite a few fans here. And let's see, I saw Tim Fournier was in early, and he's having some knee problems, Tim, so I hope that that clears up for you, buddy, and or at least you get some relief. We'll be keeping you in prayer there. Rich B1, Mushroom Leg, I played that for you, I saw you earlier. Patrick Grant, good to see you, Patrick. Michael Case, with a tall glass of iced tea, good for you, Michael. Bona Piper, good to see you, Christian. Signal Man Tony from Rhode Island, great to see you, Tony. There's my buddy Gary Edminster. Rich B1, Sleepy Piper Todd. David's Bookshop, Flint Hill Briar, John Amadon, and Poem. Good to see you, Poem. The only thing you can reach is half and half with your Rob. Hey, Tim, it's something, you know. You got to extend that range, though, my friend. Keep working it, buddy. Cypress Piper, hello. Best Brown number 2 in a Briarwork C101. Nice. Big Dave, just back from the acupuncturist office, and it's working well. Congratulations, Dave. Glad to hear that. Tim, you didn't strike me as one of them hold my beer kind of guys, but now that you say it, I think I can see it. Why am I beeping? Everybody I know knows that I'm doing a live stream, and yet I still get beeps. And that was from someone that clearly knows I'm doing this. Anyway, speaking of holding my beer, I'm going to have a beer. And tonight's beer is Pennsylvania's Finest. And Pennsylvania's Finest. Yeah, I know you were all hoping I was going to get the another one of the orange creamsicle beers out, but oh geez, I'm making a mess here. But I didn't. Why did I do that? Like I lost the ability to pour the beer. You know, I'm doing all kinds of strange stuff here, and I don't know why. Not too bad though. I for some reason decided to pour it with my left hand, and everything was off. Yeah. Was that a senior moment, or was that just the pressure of being live? It's getting to me. Let's see. There's Pondering with Pepe's Pipes. Good to see you, Pepe. Race back from work. Well, I'm glad you made it. WKR Piper. Ohio Pipe Show is right around the corner indeed. Weller Antique 107 and some 1792 flake. Good deal, Odie. Can't wait to see you there, buddy. There's a tear in Mushroom Legs beer. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yingling is good stuff, Rich. It is indeed. It's been an interesting time here in Pennsylvania, Dave. It has indeed. Oh, thank you, Tim. It might be a sign of Alzheimer's. That's a good point. I'm going to hope not, but you never know. I don't think it is, though, because I did something today. I actually, well, you're going to be bored with it, so I'm going to tell you what I did today. But I did a computer thing today that I'm quite proud of. So, it took me a while. I'll tell you a very high level. I've decided to go back. I do a lot of coding for data analysis at work, and I use Python, which it's great for what it does, you know. But way back in the 90s, I wanted to learn C++. And I tried, and it just defeated me. And I didn't really have the time to put into it, and I wasn't as serious about it as I could have been. So for some reason, the other day got this bug up me and decided I'm gonna do it now. I'm finally gonna do it. I'm gonna learn. So I'm learning an entirely new programming language, and the first thing I had to do was get the compiler working with the IDE. That's as deep as I'm going here. It's working. That was my accomplishment for today. Oh, Crowdstrike! My goodness, Tim, I tell you, it didn't affect me at all. But I'm so annoyed at this, and for highly personal reasons that, you know, I didn't realize how bad this is. The whole CrowdStrike thing is really bad. If you don't know what we're talking about, there was this major breakdown in Microsoft Windows computer systems today that affected airlines and trains and banking institutions and hospitals and schools and everything. I mean, it was worded as if they broke the internet, and that's pretty much what happened. And we realized just how much we depend on this stuff. When I first saw this, I thought, well, another reason to be happy I use Linux. It didn't affect me personally at all. But my work computer is Microsoft, is a Windows machine. So that's where it gets kind of funny. So Bona Piper's having some 1907 blend from Bladder and Bladder. Haven't heard of that one, Christian. And a Sabanelli Bing. You enjoying that Bing, buddy? Yeah, it was very specific to Windows, to Microsoft Windows. And so anyway, the reason I'm annoyed about it is that it didn't affect me, and it did not affect my work computer. It affected some people's work computers, but not mine. I got lucky for whatever reason. I did indeed, Patrick. It was successful, and I was very happy about that. And I wrote the Hello World program, and I'm off and running. I don't know how far I'll go, but it's I'm excited about it. So I stayed up way too late last night. I usually go to bed like 11 o'clock is late for me, but I made the mistake of starting to watch the end of the convention last night. And I just got caught up in it. And I watched the whole thing. And I honestly don't know if I was watching it in real time, because I was watching it on Google TV, which I'm just not sure if I was watching it in real time or not, because it seemed really, really late. I finally gave up on it ever ending at 2:30. So I was up till 2:30 in the morning watching this. And at that point, they were just getting to the point where they were going to call for the closure of the meeting. So everything was done. Trump had left the stage and all that, and most of the people had left, and they were just going to get ready to close it. And just, you know, I'm a bit of a geek for these things. I mean, I can remember watching these back in the 70s when I was a kid. Just fascinated by the process, you know, and I kind of miss those old days where, you know, each state would have to give their votes, and you'd get this little speech about the great state of whatever and all. It was fun. Anyway, I got sucked into it. I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning, which I should not have done. And then I went to bed, and at 3:30 my phone rings. And I normally would turn my ringer off, but because of my father-in-law and my brother, I keep it on at night now. And of course, a call at 3:30 in the morning is never good, right? So immediately I'm up, you know, adrenaline, run over to the phone to see. My company has an emergency messaging system, and they needed to inform the whole global corporation that this CrowdStrike thing had happened, and it was affecting the computers. And I was really pretty ticked off about that because not only had I only got an hour's sleep at that point, but it was really hard to go back to sleep because I got so revved up by the thing. So I'm running on about 3 hours sleep total. I did sleep an extra hour this morning when my alarm clock went off, and I might have dozed off a little bit this afternoon. I worked from home, so I had the luxury of doing that with one eye on the had one eye half open on the computer. But yeah, that was annoying. Someone lost their job today. Crowdstrike. I think you're right, Cypress Piper. Yeah, and I got to admit, when I first heard this and I saw, what my company basically said was, if you have this problem, just reboot your computer a few times and it'll go away. And I thought, well, that doesn't sound that bad, and I just wasn't thinking. And I was chatting with someone else who's actually a friend of ours, but I don't want to name him. Uh, and he said, heads are going to roll over this. This is a big deal. He's in that sector, and he said it may trickle down. It might even affect him and other folks. Just because of the financial impact of this. And I hadn't really thought about it. And then I, looked up some more stuff, and I realized this was huge. This was really a big deal. So. Okay. Well, that's neat that you still have the blend that you bought for your initial pipe, Christian. That's really cool. Fridays are tough sometimes. Michael, I was thinking about that. I know that story about Dan Rather and the '68 convention, and I I'm certain that was that was on in my house, but I would have only been 3 years old, close to 3 years old at the time, so I can't possibly remember any of that. But I have a lot of like really early memories of because it was fun. I just thought it was great to see these people with the funny hats and all that stuff, and then the balloons dropping and all. Um, I'm certain that the next one, which I think would have been, would that have been Ford? No, yeah, would that have been Ford and Carter? Would have been the next one. I mean, that's the earliest presidential election I can remember was when Carter won. Uh, anyway, there's no point in this. But yeah, it was. I've just always enjoyed them. Politics aside, there's just something fun about that, and seeing this, watching it last night is just crowd watching. Watching these people. I was chatting with a couple people on by text messaging while I was watching it, and at one point I said, what percentage of the delegates do you think are sober? And one of the people immediately answered 6. And I thought that might have been an overestimate. White Ash Piper Squared, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, Cypress Piper, I saw that, and I think my company actually put in some script to automatically delete them when you rebooted, so that was, yeah. Yeah, Mushroom Leg, I didn't even know who he was. That kind of annoyed me because that was just kind of hard on the ears. It was great to see the Hulk, Cypress Piper, yeah. Oh, Patrick, I love the Hulk Hogan speech. That was great. Can't go wrong with the Hulkster. That was 76? Yes, it was 76. You're right, Tim. You're right. So 72. Oh, Nixon. Okay. No. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Nixon McGovern. Okay. Okay. So that's the first one I can remember then was 76. And that makes sense because I would have been 10 years old. It's hard to imagine I would have been remembering politics from the age of 6. So, yeah. I do remember the Nixon impeachment and all that. Not that I was following it, but I remember it happening. And I remember how upset my family was about it. Like, it was just this devastating thing that was going on at the time. Um, yeah, world changed because we lost trust, which maybe we never should have had, but we did. Dry fly fisher 11. So you didn't have any issues. That's good. And creator of the boundless universe. I don't think I said hello to you, so welcome. Good to see you. You're right, Michael. There's certainly that universality in conventions, but they don't all get televised. So Flint Hill, that does sound interesting. I knew that existed, but I've never read it. Might have to pick that up. I don't know about sanity, Tim, but relevance. I mean, I don't think he was ever irrelevant. He's a wrestler, for goodness sakes, but he was fun, and it was fun seeing him last night. Yeah, Bob Newhart, that hit me hard. I love Bob Newhart. He was a really funny guy, and he really provided some great entertainment over the years. Is there anyone in wrestling circles that isn't a compulsive liar? I mean, they claim to be going in the ring and beating one another up. It's clearly a scripted event. So I don't know, Tim. I'm sure he's got his failings like anyone else does. The button-down mind of Bob Newhart. Yes, yes. That was one of his. That was his first album, wasn't it? Shannon Doherty also died. Yeah, very young. Doug Owen. Good evening, sir. Good to see you. She had cancer and was apparently fighting it for 5 or 6 years. So sad. I mean, hopefully they're both at peace. I mean, Bob Newhart, it's hard to be sad of, 94-year-old. That's a great life. And he was working just a few years ago still. And I don't know, Isabel's going to act up because she's alone up there. We can safely ignore her because I let her out earlier. Okay, Flint Hill. So you grew up watching the Newhart show. I grew up watching what I think was called the Bob Newhart show, um, which was I might have to yell at Isabel. The one where he was the psychologist, and believe it or not, I I went to college thinking I was going to be a psychologist in part because of that show, because I thought he had just such a great, it was just such an interesting idea that you would sit down and talk to people and help them. Uh, comedy aside, it got me interested in the field. So he kind of had a big impact on me. If a celebrity like that can have a big impact on someone, I guess I don't want to overstate it, but yes, the wife is in Pittsburgh, Patrick. Uh, yes, Richard Simmons also. And Dr. Ruth Odie, yeah. He learned so much. Dr. Ruth was a strange phenomenon. I met her once. I met her when I was at the University of Pittsburgh. She was in a bar. Uh, there was a hotel bar that was right across the street from the building that my lab was in, and they used to have a happy hour, and we'd go there and we'd get cheap beer and food, and then go back to work. And for whatever reason, a lot of celebrities would stay there. I guess they were like giving talks at the university or something, but saw several famous people there, including Dr. Ruth, and got to say hello to her, which was a little weird. She's a very tiny woman. You think, is he Mrs. Bob Newhart, Tim? That might be it. Patrick, that was a great one, and they actually kept that from everybody on the cast. I think the only person that knew about it was Bob Newhart um, when they filmed it. So that was quite a feat. And yes, Big Dave, are you thinking of the same Thanksgiving Day one where they're stuck in the snow with the knock knock joke, which is the funniest. I think it's the funniest thing he's ever done. Um, yeah, Tim, the whole dream thing was kind of a surprising twist. If you say so, Christian. Dobie Gillis's mother. Uh, Hickman, Dwayne Hickman. Who was Dobie Gillis's mother, Michael? I'm confused. 24 bucks is a check. Yes, yes. So they're stuck in the snow at this cabin, and it's just Bob and I don't honestly. I know that Jerry, the dentist guy, was there. I think Howard was there, his neighbor, and they are drinking, which it was odd for them. But I think there was some reason why they were drinking it, because they wouldn't have just gotten drunk on that show. But they are getting quite tipsy, and they're trying to pass the time. And they're telling knock knock jokes and stuff, and it's knock knock, who's there? And Bob goes out to the kitchen to put the turkey in the oven, and he picks up the turkey and he realizes that it's frozen solid. And to test this, he takes the turkey and he bangs it on the countertop twice. So it goes bang, bang. And I think it was Howard, the neighbor, says, "Who's there?" And the look on Bob Newhart's face is just priceless, because he's got that sort of stunned, like, I can't believe I'm dealing with this level of stupidity kind of thing. And he just looks up and says, "It's the turkey." Which, of course, the response is, "It's the turkey who." I love that scene. It makes me laugh every time I think of it. He was on The Big Bang Theory too. Oh yeah, he played the science guy, the TV science guy character. I remember that. Oh, the older knitting patient. Okay, yes, oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's interesting, Michael. I didn't know that she was uh Dobie's mother. Maybe they were playing Hi Bob. That would explain how they got drunk, Tim. Absolutely. Paul McCartney photography exhibit. That sounds interesting, Patrick. Glad you enjoyed that. Little Piper Todd, how you doing? Oh, the Darrells were great playing. Oh yeah, there's just so much funny stuff on that. You think that was it, Doug? It was just the lack of the female influence? Could be. I know I'm drinking a lot more with my wife missing. Uh, I had a strange interaction with Google this week that I probably shouldn't tell you about that involved drinking. Not that I was excessively drinking, but I was. So we've got the Google in the house, turn lights off and on and stuff like that, and you can ask it questions. And I enjoy asking it silly, stupid questions just to see its reaction. And most of the time, its reaction is just, "I'm sorry, I don't understand," but occasionally you get something funny out of it. And this has become a habit with me, and it's going to get me in trouble someday because I know it's tracking everything and it's building a profile of me, and someday I'll probably be taken away. But I made dinner and I was opening a bottle of wine, and I was thinking, gee, I'm drinking alone. You're not supposed to do that. Joking with myself about the fact that I'm not supposed to be drinking alone, and maybe I'm becoming an alcoholic. And absolutely no offense to anyone that struggles with alcoholism. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And, people that have overcome it are some of the bravest people I know. I know quite a few of them, and I would never make fun of that. And that's not what I was doing here. I was making fun of myself for drinking alone. So I hope you understand that. And so I just decided to ask Google, and it's just I'm just being silly and stupid in the moment. And I'd asked it a couple questions about alcoholism, um, out of curiosity, and then I just, out of stupidity, said, "Is it possible to become alcoholic if you only drink wine?" Okay, stupid question. And now I'm waiting for a ridiculous response or I don't understand. It responded by giving me the suicide prevention hotline phone number. I I guess that's good. I wasn't expecting it, and I drank more slowly that evening. Only had the one glass of wine. Professor Proton, that was the character's name, yes. A long time ago when we was fab, I did get that one, Tim. Thank you. That's a terrible song, too. You do that with the Alexa thing, Flint? It's fun. I did get it, Tim. So, Doug, my wife had an opportunity to go, I believe tonight, to see Billy Joel with her sister in Pittsburgh, and she turned it down. I'm so proud of her. Oh, Christian. So I'll tell you something that, okay, this is gonna really, this is gonna let you know just how childish and immature I can be. But there's like an 8-year-old boy in me that laughs at this and really, really finds it funny. I like to ask Google questions about the planet, what the Catholic nuns taught me to call the planet Uranus. But Google doesn't pronounce it Uranus. And it will go into great detail telling me about the size of Uranus, and you can ask questions like, what if you landed on Uranus? And it just makes me laugh. I'm sorry. I'm a silly man. Ah, we could get the AI to sing a drinking song. Yoko Ono ruined the Beatles. Is that universally accepted, Big Dave? Because I certainly agree. Uh, Tim, if they're the ones I responded to, it was the Concrete Blonde and the Beatles one. Yes, I did. I thought I responded to that. Let you know, I thought they were both very good in their own way. It's a good point, Doug. He might have called her up on stage and shamed her. Yeah, Christian, that's the kind of joke I enjoy. Yes. Paragon Piper. Yes. I don't. Did anybody like her? I mean, did anybody actually see talent in her? I don't know. It's kind of like the art that, where it's just like paint thrown on canvas and people stand there looking at it saying, "Oh, it's wonderful" and all that. And I just wonder how many of those people are just like, uh, "I'm going to go along with it. Everybody else seems to like it." I know people think of it that way, dry fly fisher, but I don't understand because wine has a fairly high alcohol content. I mean, compared to beer, most beers, like a simple lager, you're getting a lot more alcohol, and it's easier to drink. So, oh, Doug, that's funny. And Tim's got a variant on the joke. Yeah, me neither, Patrick. There's music I don't get, and I'm very willing to say that that's me. Like I don't get most of like heavy metal type music. It just doesn't do anything for me. And I can't quite understand why people enjoy it, but I can see that people could enjoy it. But with that kind of stuff, I just don't see that there's anything musical about it. I didn't know that, Christian. So she was actually hunting. Oh, Pepe, I hope Mama's feeling okay. That's not good. Boy, there's a lot of scatological Star Trek jokes, aren't there, Big Dave? You enjoy it, Patrick? That's good. It's just, and I don't even want to say I don't enjoy it like as a blanket statement because there's probably one or two things that I would enjoy, but like I dated a girl uh, back before my wife, obviously before my wife, uh, who was really into Ozzy Osbourne. Is that considered heavy metal? I don't know. Is like Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, that kind of stuff heavy metal? Um, I lump them together. And she convinced me to buy the album that had No More Tears on it. I think that was the name of the song. It was a big hit at the time. This was probably mid to late 90s. And yeah, there were, it wasn't, there were songs in that were not unlistenable to me. So yeah, I can't say I hate it all, but one of my favorite of Lugosi's lines there, Doug. Pretty much the beginning of metal, says Tim. Well, it shows you what I know, right? If you turned in here for heavy metal, you're you're in the wrong place. Okay, so that was an Ozzy song. So there were one or two songs on that album that I kind of enjoyed, but How much of that was colored by the fact that I was trying to get along with this girl, I don't know. Um, it didn't go well. Why not, Odie? Why not? Just don't tell Google about it. No, Christian, it wasn't musical taste that ended that relationship. It was more, well, the fact that she had actually carved Ozzy into her leg at one point was sort of a red flag. Not during our relationship, prior to it, but I didn't know about it until we were. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. Can you imagine the guy I'd be today if I'd gone, Now my wife goes away and I drink too much. If I wound up with her, she'd go away and I'd like sneak off and listen to jazz or something. I'm not gonna repeat that, Big Dave. It's funny, but I'm not gonna repeat that. What's crazy, Odie? What do I consider Alice Cooper's music? The only song I know by Alice Cooper that's coming to mind, I think, was he Schools Out? Was that Alice Cooper? So I would put that more in the sort of just classic rock category. But again, I'm no popular music guy. It's I guess that's not even considered popular music, considered rock, but I'm not the guy to ask. Christian, if I bumped into her again, I would just turn and walk the other way. You guys are typing a lot of things that I don't understand, so I don't know why the number 18 keeps coming up. Are these all Alice Cooper songs? Elevator music for when the elevator is going down. Okay, Paul. Santana early years. Did I ever tell you the story about listening to Santana in my dentist office? I was I see, Tim, I don't know if you're saying yes that it was Alice Cooper songs. It must be, because that would be too fast for you to say that I did tell you the story about Santana in my dentist office. Um, so I'm laying back, and the hygienist, who was very friendly, and I'd known her for a while, is cleaning my teeth, and I like to just go away when I'm in the dentist office. I just stare at the ceiling and blank my mind and let them do what they have to do. Um, so She likes to play music, and she has music on, and it's usually like soft rock, classic rock, that kind of stuff. She hums along while and it's fine. So I don't really realize it because I'm not paying attention, but Black Magic Woman is playing Santana, and she's humming along to it, and cleaning my teeth and all that. And it's summer; it's the middle of summer, and baseball season. Isabel, be good. Be a good girl. So as she's doing this, apparently the song ends. Again, I'm not really paying attention, and she says, "Do you like Santana?" And I respond, "Well, so far he's really good defensively, but I think his offense needs some work." Because the Phillies had just that year brought on Carlos Santana, and Carlos Santana, or was that? No, it was Carlos Santana was actually the. Who am I thinking of? Anyway, there was a Phillies player named Santana, and that's who I was thinking of, and she was thinking of Carlos Santana, and so I just got this really puzzled look, and she shrugged her shoulders and went back to cleaning my teeth, and as she's doing this, I kind of hear the music in my head, and I go, "Oh." So it was one of them awkward moments that I often have with women. That is a movie flashback, Tim. Tobacco Pipes International. Good to see you, Mark. Lurker Troy, did you sneak in? Good to see you. I don't know who did Black Magic Woman before Santana, Patrick. Was it Ruben? It must have been Ruben. I cannot remember now. He only played with them for one season. I think he was a former Cardinal, Doug. Is there a Santana that was a Cardinal? First baseman? You know, Christian, I've never thought of those birds during a cleaning, but I will forevermore think of that. Thank you. And now we're quoting the Big Lebowski. Lebowski, there we go. I do enjoy the guitar work on the Santana guitar work. That's one thing that I do. I do like guitar. It's when it's well played, and it doesn't have to be classically good music for me to enjoy it. Critics View, hello. Hope you're enjoying dinner too. You know, there's some songs where I only listen to them because of the guitar. The lyrics are terrible, or I don't like the type of music, but the guitar just comes through. I do like that. So, setting music aside for the night, I got something I wanted to try. And maybe it'll be a failure, or maybe it'll be something that'll make a regular feature or something, but I re-stumbled upon something. I saw this a couple years ago and enjoyed it, and I saw it again this morning, or yesterday morning. It must have been yesterday, because I put it in the description here. Or I alluded to it in the description. So there is something. So you're familiar with inspirational posters. I'm sure you've seen these, like in doctors' offices or in conference rooms or something. You know, it's a picture of like a rock climber climbing up the side of this steep cliff, and it'll say something like, "We only move forward by going ahead," or, something stupid like that. So you've all seen those kind of things. Well, there is a website that I understand was set up as a serious attempt to generate these posters on the fly randomly. It's referred to as AI by a lot of folks now, but this was too early for it to truly be AI. I think this was just a text generator machine kind of thing. But it was awful. It really did not do a good job. But what it did do was create some very hilarious inspirational quotes. And some of them just are like laugh out loud funny. They're sometimes a little off color, so it does sometimes use language that I'm not real comfortable with, but not too often. I played with it yesterday and today, and I think it's going to be okay. It's called Inspirobot, and I thought it might be fun for us to get like an inspirational quote of the week. So if you're amenable to that, I've got Inspirobot ready to go, and we can bring it up on the screen and see what wisdom it has for us. The interesting thing about it is that while the quotes are always strange, sometimes they've got like an odd truth to them that's worth thinking about. Buckaroo Banzai was an endless fountain of inspiration, Tim. Yes, Hallmark posters. I saw again that there was a Babylon Bee article the other day that said that Hallmark scientists are close to discovering a second plot. That joke's been in like 15 different versions now, but I still love it. Fleetwood Mac had an instrumental guitar song. So I saw Fleetwood Mac years ago. I took my wife to see them, and she loves them. I didn't understand it. The songs all sound the same. One of the longest nights of my life, but I did make friends with the bartenders. I got her like we were like in the third row, and we had a private bar just for the people in that area. So I got to know the bartenders, and she poured pretty strong drinks for me. Got me through the thing. But I think Lindsey Buckingham, is that the guitarist? I really enjoyed watching him. He played well. Got me through the show. That and getting to look at Christine McVie, who was closest to me. She was an attractive woman for her age. The other one looked like some kind of macabre marionette or something, but yeah. Okay, let's do some motivational posters before we get to the second pipe. Let me see if I can make this work. Ah! And the problem is I'm going to have to go off to do it. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Hopefully you can all see Inspirobot, an artificial intelligence dedicated to generating unlimited amounts of unique inspirational quotes for endless enrichment of pointless human existence. So it knows its place. A chin for a chin, a leg for a leg. Do we need anything more than that? Yeah, I really enjoyed his playing. Yeah, it was sad about McVie dying. She was actually sick for a while as well, and she did not want to tour. She actually had a really bad case of um, stage fright about going back out after she got over her illness. Um, but she was good. She was sort of a high point of the show. Paul Johnson, hello. So, do we want to should we give it another try? I'm not terribly thrilled with that one. I think we can do better. Ah, let's make greed normal. That must have been the real old days, Doug, because yeah. Dion at the Troubadour. That must have been a show, Michael. I like Let's Make Greed Normal. I think that make greed normal again. You're right, Flint Hill. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. All right, let's make greed normal might be the inspirational quote for the night. But what do you say we do one more run? We'll do three. See if it's see if we get something better. Yeah, that's not so good. I think we're going to stick with let's make greed normal. I think that's going to be the inspirational quote for the evening. Well, I got windows flying all over the place here. Hopefully I'm going to come back to full screen. Hey, look at that. It's nice when it works. Buckingham and Curtis Lowe are the best finger pickers to ever play the blues. I don't know that. I know who Curtis Lowe is. Anyway, I'm sure you're right, Tim. Oh, we're going down the tubes, Mark. No question about it. I don't know what the AI is on Paragon Piper, but it's not intentionally bad. It just never worked well, that particular one, and they just left it. It's a very early attempt, and it just generates these hilarious. I mean, there's whole like, it has its own Twitter thing, and there's people have made whole YouTube videos about this, just coming, some of the funnier ones, and the one that made me laugh and that made me think this would be worth doing, and I don't know if it was worth doing or not because those three weren't funny, but although Make Greed Normal was good. There's one of this guy, it's a guy like walking out on a pier, and it's sort of like sunset kind of lighting, and it's dark around the edges and stuff. Looks very much like an inspirational poster. And below it, it just says very simply, Cats are short. That made me laugh. Stanley Jordan. I had a really neat experience with Stanley Jordan once. I went to it was actually the first time I went to the Montreal Jazz Festival. The reason I went was not for the Jazz Festival. That was a happy surprise. Um, it was because there was a luthier convention, and I was getting pretty deep into making mandolins and things like that. So I wanted to go to this, and it just happened to coincide with the Jazz Festival, which was great and all that. But at this, there was this little workshop with Stanley Jordan. And it was only about maybe 15 people in the room. And he came in and sat down in front of the room, and it was like 2 rows of seats. I was in the second row because I really had no business being there. But you know, close enough that I could have like hit him in the head with a piece of paper or something through it. And he just sort of went through his process for creating music, and you know how he'd like to start when he was writing a song and stuff. And he played. He had the guitar with him, and he played, and he talked for about an hour, and it was just a lot of fun. And you know, a side of someone that you don't normally get to see. So that was a really cool experience. Doug, we could argue about whether or not greed is normal according to Ayn Rand. I don't think she would say that greed is normal. I think she would say that the desire to accumulate wealth is normal, but that's not the same thing as greed. You know, she would say that your personal wealth is your only measure of value, and you want to have value in yourself, and therefore you want to increase your wealth. But being greedy means that you would never use that wealth to help another person. And I don't think she ever believed that. Uh, at least that wasn't in my understanding of objectivism. Big Country Briar, how you doing, Cole? Blue Note Theater. So that sounds like a smaller venue, Patrick. I'm sure that was a great show. The Smooth Piper. Hey, Peter. Happy Friday. Peter's got his haunted bookshop going in the Friday Savinelli. Good man. My goodness, I got almost an hour out of this pipe. That's unusual. There's some beautiful scenery in New Mexico and in Arizona, Rich. Hope it was a pleasurable trip. Michael, it depends heavily. So it's been anywhere from 2 to 4, I'd say. Um, so today this is actually number 3 for me. It depends a lot if I'm going to work or if I'm working from home, because I tend to have one in the afternoon if I'm working from home. I've been having one in the morning and not driving, so I haven't been taking pipes with me. And then I'll usually have one in the evening. And, on the weekends, there'll be one in the afternoon. Today there'll be an extra because of the live stream. The things I do for you guys. Look at that. I'm going to smoke an extra pipe for you. Yeah, Tim, that's what my doctor thinks. Right, we do not mention that to the doctor, so it's just I have one pipe every other day. Yes. Yeah, I was averaging 6 to 8 a day, Michael. So it is a nice change. And again, I'm not doing it for any real reason other than just to feel more in control of it. And yeah, it's good. It's a good thing. I don't know if I'm nursing them more because I know there's going to be more time between them, but this is really lasting a long time for me. It doesn't seem like I've done a lot of relights tonight either. Kind of interesting. So should we give Inspirobot another try next week, or should we just let it die a silent death? Not really, dry fly fisher. No, they haven't been. I mean, the first couple of days I did pick larger pipes intentionally, but no, I've been going through my normal rotation, and like the pipe I picked for today, it's just this little billiard. Okay, we'll give Inspirobot a second chance next week then. Sounds good. Patrick and Michael voted for it. Good enough for me. Just trying to add to the entertainment value. I know, Patrick, it's crazy. I can't believe it's already 9 o'clock. Tim, I have to admit I've not heard any jazz hip hop fusion. Does that surprise you? Uh, so I can't comment on it, but anybody else out there? Is that US3? $622 is a nice shape, David. All right, Tim, I'll look forward to that. I'll give it a listen. Tim's been helping me with my musical education, challenging me too, and I appreciate it. All right, Bona Piper, you have a great weekend, buddy. Take care now. That's an interesting thought, Dryfly Fisher. We could keep a running tally and have like a poster of the year or something. I'll have to remember to save it then. I think we might be getting to the bottom of this. Yep. We're starting to smoke briar. That's not good. We'll let that cool off. And I'm sorry, I'm going to be boring today. I'm just going to have a second bowl of Haunted Bookshop. My Rollins band put Tim, I'm sorry, my memory is bad. I don't know if it's that Alzheimer's you diagnosed me with earlier. Did I actually have a Rollins band poster? Or was I just joking about getting one? Or did you send me one? I still have to find Roger Goodell. Troy likes posters of $100 bills. What we'll do is we'll finally make the Ginger or Marianne mugs, and everybody that buys a Ginger or Marianne mug gets a free inspirational poster at the end of the year. No, I'm sorry, Patrick, but I left the tobacco of the month, which is the Burley Flake #1. I left it upstairs. Okay, so it's a joke that you sent me one. So I don't actually have a Rollins band poster around here somewhere. Okay, thank you, Tim. I remember having a joke about it, but I couldn't remember the details. So this is a little old basket billiard that I love dearly. I'm just gonna load that up with Haunted Bookshop. I think it's because I'm not smoking as much that I don't get to enjoy the Haunted Bookshop as much as I like to, and so I'm kind of reluctant to not have Haunted Bookshop. Like I have a container like this upstairs of oh God, I'm blanking on it now. Patrick, what's the Burley Virginia blend you like? I cannot think of the name of this. It's the really inexpensive blend that Cornell and Deal puts out under a different name. Low Country Virginia Burley. And I really enjoy that in the morning because it's lighter but it still has the burley to it. And I would smoke that. That would be my first pipe of the day. And I haven't touched it because I just got to have the Haunted Bookshop when I smoke one in the morning. Creator of the boundless universe, watching with Soylent Green playing in the background, Boswell's honey roast and a cob. My goodness. you're having a night, my friend. Tim, it has to have Mrs. Howell on the other side. All right, Mark TPI, you have a great weekend, my friend. Tim, if it was a joke, it wasn't a lie. You're just pulling me leg. So I actually got some shop work done this week. Um, been a while since I've done any pipe work, but I got some work done on a stem. It's funny just how you don't realize when it's just the two of you. I at least don't realize how much my wife does. Uh, and then when I have to do all the things that she does on top of all the things that I do, uh, doesn't leave a lot of time. And work's been crazy, and then there's all the stuff going on with the family stuff and all that. And it's just exhausting. So having the time to come down here and work on something is I love it, you know, and it's really nice to be able to do that, but it's just been hard to make that time. Oh, okay, the liar bit was okay. I missed it, Tim. You know, I'm socially inept when it comes to this stuff. I can't find it, but I never believe anything. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. I never believe anything that Cole says. So I made pasta for dinner tonight. I made earlier in the week. I made I call it ratatouille, but I don't know if it really is. It's basically an eggplant stew kind of thing. Eggplant, tomatoes, peppers, some summer squash, that kind of stuff. Uh, it's the CSA season. We get a lot of that stuff, and I got to use it up somehow before the next one. So I do this, and it's good because it's very versatile. I mean, you can eat it plain, you can eat it with rice or pasta, or you can eat it cold. I mean, it's and it gets rid of a lot of the vegetables. So I decided to have that with some pasta tonight, and I go and I put the pot of water on the stove and turn the stove on, and I figure I'll give it 15 minutes or so to boil. And like 15-20 minutes later, I go out and I look and I realize that I've turned on the wrong burner. I've got an electric stove, so it wasn't like flame was going, but uh, so I had this red hot element with nothing on it, and the pot's sitting there cold. So I moved the pot over to the hot element and thought, well, that'll be okay. But of course, it was the smaller one, and it wasn't big enough to. So 15-20 minutes later, water still wasn't boiling. So then I had to turn on the big one and move it back. It took me like an hour to boil water. It's not good when my wife's gone for too long. News on the brother front. Michael, uh, I don't know what's going on. He seems to be getting better. They said that the mass has gotten smaller. He's healing. Prayers are working. So by all means, keep the prayers coming, and I'm continuing to pray for him. Uh, but we haven't gotten the second opinion yet. They're still waiting for the biopsy results before they'll refer him to Dartmouth. So hopefully that's going to happen early next week. Any thoughts on Marlo Thomas? I remember watching That Girl when I was in first grade, and I remember it was first grade because, well, it's complicated, but I know I was in first grade at the time. And that was like the first female that I was kind of fixated on TV. Not in an adult way, but in a very childlike way. And that was interesting to me because she was off on her own and stuff, and I got to learn about having a boyfriend or having a girlfriend. Went backwards there because I was thinking it from her point of view. Relationships and those kind of things. So yeah, Marlo Thomas has a place in my heart for sure. Couch, how you doing, buddy? I would not be surprised if that's what killed it. I hope you're suffering through okay. She did have a deep voice, Big Dave, that's true. Hey, Cole, I'll do. You guys have these wild Friday nights. I never get to go to them. No, nobody invites me. I wind up going back to my room and going to bed early. I know you will, Couch. I know, but I'm glad you got through it. "12 more minutes, Isabel." She's a good girl. I brushed them this afternoon, which was sorely needed. Normally I do it once a week, but lately it's just been crazy, and they needed it because they're shedding badly right now. And Izzy, be good. Be a good girl. She was in her glory. She loves it. She just thinks it's getting pet. And she's like rolling around in the yard and, just having a big old time with it. Thatcher, her sister, was like, "Oh, that's not going to happen to me, is it?" And as soon as I turned to her with the brush, she took off. And I had to play this game with her where, come on. And she'd like take a few steps towards me and then she'd run away. And finally I would get her and I'd get like a quarter of her brush and then she'd go running around the yard and stuff. Isabel, I've got this nice pile of dog hair that I could pick up and put in the trash. Thatcher, it's just all over the yard. But they're all nicely brushed now. All right, Jeffrey, have a great weekend, buddy. Oh, Michael, you know me. I'm a party animal. I don't think anybody's partying too hard at the pipe show. But for us, it's wild. And Odie says it's getting wild this year, so okay. Well, if I get invited along, I'll try to get wild. Yeah, Tim, that's a good image. Yeah. And I got to get an idea on what I should bring, because you guys are all urban. I was going to say snobs, but that's not nice, is it? Aficionados. And I drink anything brown, so liquor, anything brown liquor. So I got to pick up something that you guys will at least not laugh at me for bringing. John Abaddon, take care, buddy. Have a great weekend. Oh, not Margot Kidder. No, between the two of those, I think Marlo Thomas wins, Pepe. I believe Margot Kidder is still alive, Big Dave. Wild Turkey. Yeah, I don't know, Patrick. Is that a no? She's not still alive, Tim? Armchair Piper, good to see you, Ed. You can't be late. You're just on time. Two blocks away. That's amazing, Pepe. Isabel, be a good girl. No. Like I said, I know she's just lonely because they were out in the yard right before I came down here, so I'm not being cruel. Yeah, Marlo Thomas was something. Margot Kidder, I saw her recently in it was the reincarnation of Peter Proud, which I talked about on one of my, well, yeah, I think it was one of my Sunday shows. Um, so she was much younger in that than in Superman, and there's just something about her that makes me think she's. And I know she had mental health issues later in life, and I'm not making fun of that, but she just always had that vibe about her where, you know, this is a dangerous woman. Gary thinks I should bring Everclear to the pipe show. I have Everclear. If nobody wants to drink it, I can clean pipes for people. Pepe says his friend has her dogs in her care. Check the facts. Marla subsided in her home and passed. Okay, Pepe. I didn't know that Marlo Thomas had died. I think Marlo Thomas is still alive, Pepe. Hey Google, how old is Marlo Thomas?
86 years old.
So she's alive in 86. Hey Google, how old is Margot Kidder?
Margot Kidder was 69 years old when she died in 2018.
So Tim was right. She died in 2018 and she was, I think 69 was what Google said, but I've already forgotten. Be good, Izzy. Diana Rigg will always be my favorite, Gary. Yeah, it's Margot Kidder who died. That's right, Pepe. They're shooting a new Superman movie there in Cincinnati. Wow. Do they shoot many movies there, Odie? That seems like an unusual location to me. Diana Rigg was a Bond girl, and I know this is going to be controversial, but she was a Bond girl in my favorite Bond movie. Um, I love that movie. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a lot of the other ones, but that one, if I had to pick just one Bond movie to watch, that would be the one. I think George Lazenby did a great job. I think it was one of the ones that got closest to the grittiness of it. It let you see why he became what he became. So yeah, and it had Diana Rigg in it. So you know, and Telly Savalas, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Betty Davis was a looker in her day for sure. Paragon. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Peter. Bob Newhart, very sad, but he lived a good long life. No problem, Pepe. I've been wrong tonight more than you have. Barbara Feldon, that's a good one, Michael. Yeah. He was married in that one, Ed, briefly. In her younger days, Paragon, I don't know. She wasn't that bad. Oh, Tim, that one hurts. Well done. They filmed Rain Man in Cincinnati. That's cool, W.K.R. Piper. Yes, 99, Armchair Piper. Love balloons. Good one, Flint Hill. Well done. It's Luft with an F, not a D. You came close. You came close. You know, you guys are raised that. So Paragon Piper and Gary Edminster, you just picked out two of my favorite examples of this. Both of those people, Lucille Ball and Angela Lansbury, were absolutely gorgeous when they were young. And I never thought that because I only knew Lucille Ball as, you know, the Lucille Ball, who I thought was, I just found her obnoxious. And I only knew Angela Lansbury as, you know, Murder, She Wrote Angela Lansbury. But Lucille Ball was in, and it really struck me that I belong to the Three Stooges fan club. You guys learned far too much about me on the show. I belong to the Three Stooges fan club, and I get this quarterly magazine from them, and they have like stills from the different shorts, and sometimes they're like publicity photos and things like that. And there's this one where the Stooges are there with these three women, and you know they're all drop dead gorgeous. And the one really caught my eye. Like, wow, that's a beautiful woman. And I read the caption, and it's Lucille Ball, and I thought, holy cow, that can't possibly be. And then you look at it, and yeah, it is. It is. So it just, and you know, I'm sure that I don't mean to say they were hideous or anything in their older age. They just weren't attractive to me. But both of them were were stunning when they were young. Uh, Another one, Marian Anderson, who played Mrs. Cunningham on Happy Days. She is in an episode of Perry Mason when she's a teenager and like a 19-year-old. Didn't want to get creepy there. And she was really attractive at a young age too. And I guess it's these people that you sort of think in that more of in that motherly, grandmotherly age range rather than in the sort of more women you gawk at age range. Yes, Tim, I do the curly shuffle. I do. That's right. Lucy and Desi were the driving force behind Star Trek. Yep. Oh yeah, Manchurian Candidate. Yes, Michael. Yes. And Gaslight, she's in and plays a great role in Gaslight. Yeah, that's what we were just alluding to, Patrick, that Lucy was responsible for Star Trek. So, in an interesting way, if it wasn't for the Lucy show, you probably wouldn't have had the Lucy Desi power that they had to put together that production company and all that. So, as much as I can't stand, I Love Lucy, that was the name of the show. As much as I can't stand that show, I guess I have to be grateful for it. Yes, but getting back to Marianne, Ed, yes. Yeah, and Margaret as well, Patrick. There's some videos of her, like tests. What do they call them? Not auditions. When they have an actress or actor do a test thing, and they film it. I can't think of what it's called right now, but there's some of them on YouTube, and she's really, yeah, very early in her career, very attractive woman. And of course, she was an attractive woman throughout her career. And it's true. I'm seeing well, Debbie Reynolds, yes, indeed. Carol Burnett. Somebody said Marlo Thomas, and today, there are women that really keep that sort of classic beauty about them, even though they age, and that's always nice to see too. And of course, there's the beauty that comes from within. We don't want to forget about that. We tend to focus on the external, but I'm sure these are all lovely women, lovely people. They have people around them that love them quite a lot. And there's Eric, the blue collar pipe smoker, coming in towards the end with Casting Couch. We should rename the show Casting Couch. Hopefully my wife will not ask me what we talked about this week. See a lot of people mentioning Elizabeth Montgomery, Pepe and creator. She was another one that died way too young. Hey Eric, are you going to make it to Columbus this year? Okay, Paragon, I know you're joking about B. Arthur. I don't know, Pepe. I'm probably going to get flack for this, but I just thought Barbara Eden was just kind of, I don't know. Like, I don't have anything bad to say about her, but she wasn't exciting to me. She was just a blonde woman. Derailed again. That could be another name for the show, at Gary. Instead of a virtual pipe club, we're going to call this the casting couch or Derailed again. You know Eric will do some crowd surfing, Odie. Ahmed Salman, how are you, buddy? Are you joking about that, Doug? Because that's kind of the way I feel about it. She was, I don't know, I don't know how to put it, and I don't want to get myself in trouble, so I'm just going to shut up. Oh, Eric, I'm sorry to hear that. I sure hope your wife finds something, and that's okay. You'll be there in spirit for sure. Tim sent me a picture. We've gone over now. I hope, oh, there's Isabel. Oh, wow. That is a very young Mrs. Howe. That picture was taken approximately 70 years before she starred on Gilligan's Island. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, she lived to be 91 years old. She was born in 1900. Wow. Yeah, stunning woman. Vanilla is a good word for it, Doug. Yes. I can't say anything bad about Barbara Eden, but she just, I don't know. And I think there was a lot of hype. I also don't think she was a very good actress. Yeah, that's another thing. I just thought her acting was kind of flat. This is true, Gary. I have the right to remain silent, not necessarily the ability. Oh, good. Paragon's in the Barbara Eden vanilla camp too. Steve, how you doing, my friend? All right, Pepe. Special blink right back to you. Hope Mama Pepe's feeling better. And guys, I probably should go and make Isabel happy. So we will be drawing this to a close. A great time. Thank you all for joining me. I always enjoy it, and tonight was no exception. So we will almost certainly be back next week. I'll see you on Sunday with something. Probably not more Inspirobot, but we'll save that for next week. So take care all. And have a great weekend. Bye now.